What's going on, YouTube? I'm just sitting down here in my bait bunker and contemplating some conversations I've had recently, some things I see on a daily basis, and I think it's time to have a little heart to heart about the Livescope controversy, if you will. I don't know. I'm just kind of fed up with it, and in full disclosure, I'm just going to let you know I don't own a Livescope, don't desire one. I'm a shallow water guy. My version of deep water is like 6 foot of water. With that said, my tournament partner absolutely has a live scope on his boat. I've used it. I can see the upside to it. I think in some ways it's cool. It just isn't something that I think that I would get enough use out of to spend a few $1,000s on. So I don't. I choose not to. Um, I will hear so many arguments for live scope, against live scope, forward facing sonar, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm all ears. I'm open to a lot of the arguments. There's one argument that I won't hear at all because I'm just not open to it for the most part. But, let's just kind of go over them. Is it boring? Yeah, it kind of is boring. If I turn on Bass Live Mix and there's four dudes staring at a screen, not saying a word, it can be kind of boring. It's probably not great for their ratings, but ultimately I can get over it, especially when they're lifting up a 4 or 5 pound smallmouth and they're battling big waves. I'll still watch a little bit when I have time, but it's probably, like I said, not great for the ratings because most people don't want to watch that. So I'll hear the it's boring argument. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to know that running a frog over a mat is way more entertaining than watching a guy live scope. So that's a fair argument, absolutely. Is it bad for the fisheries? I don't honestly know. I'm not a fisheries biologist. I don't know the science behind it. I'm not a fish harvester personally. I will keep a couple of walleyes every year. I live in Wisconsin and we'll fry up a couple walleyes. Like literally, when I say a couple, I'm talking 2 or 3 walleyes a year. Maybe a dozen perch for a fish fry, but I don't harvest fish when I'm bass fishing, especially. I don't keep them. I can't. What it is, what it is. I'm not a fish harvester, so uh, if I had a live scope, am I going to damage the fishery with it? I sure don't think so. But am I open to the argument? 100%. I'm open to the argument. I can see where the efficiency of a live scope. If you're a crappie guy, a perch guy, a bluegill guy, a meat hunter, uh, you could do a lot of damage really quick with one. So I'm open to that argument. I don't know if it's good for fisheries or not. I don't pretend to have the answer, but I'll hear both sides of the argument, and I'm just fine to have that debate because I think it's a valid question. I really do see the validity in the argument. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I see validity to that argument, I guess is my point. What's another argument we hear? It's cheating. Is it cheating? I don't think so. To me, it's not. Um, is it cheating if somebody has a 360 on their boat and I don't? No, I don't think so. Again, did we think it was cheating when down imaging and side imaging hit the streets? I didn't hear a lot of complaining about that. So to me, LiveScope is just another tool. Is it an expensive tool? Yeah, it's fairly expensive, but it's available and it's readily available to most people. I'll gladly fish in a derby without it in my boat if I need to. Um, Competitive advantage to the guys that have it? Maybe. If they know how to use it and they're efficient with it, yeah, they have some advantages. I know that for me and my tournament partner, when we're in his boat and we use LiveScope, we eliminate some water pretty quick. So it does give us an efficiency edge for sure. Is it cheating? I don't think so. Like I said, I'm willing to jump in my boat without live scope. I run two basic Garmin 9-inch, one at the console, one up front. Like that's just the way I fish, and I'm happy to do it, and I'm happy to try and compete that way. So, do I think if you have live scope, you're cheating? Not at all. So, again, I don't know that that argument holds a ton of water, but I'll at least hear it. I'll listen to it. But again, to me, not really cheating. Gaining a little bit of a competitive advantage, sure. If you're really savvy with the electronics, especially, and you're already a really good fisherman, yeah, you're gaining something. But again, I have every opportunity to buy that, put it on my boat, learn how to use it, maximize the tool. I choose not to. It's just what it is. So the cheating argument, it's not a big deal to me personally. The one argument, however, that I'm tired of and I don't want to hear anymore is the it's too expensive. I can't afford a live scope argument. I'm not naive. I know what gas prices look like. I filled up for $3.79 the other day. I live in Wisconsin. Our groceries are astronomical. I have a teenage boy and a 9-year-old boy. Our grocery bill is out of control. I know that things are expensive out there. Okay, like there are some people who genuinely probably can't afford it, but I'm just telling you, the circles that I run in, most of the guys I know, if they wanted it, they could afford it. Would they have to give something up? Yeah, they probably would. But can they get it? Absolutely. Perfect example is I stood in the tackle shop just yesterday, and I was talking to an old feller, and he said to me, "I'm just gonna quit fishing. I can't afford that forward-facing sonar on the front of my boat. I'm gonna quit fishing." Really? You're gonna quit fishing after a lifetime of fishing over a piece of electronics? Why are you even fishing in the first place then? Like, my first boat had no electronics. It was a tiller. It was a 15-foot tiller, and it had no electronics. And I had just as much fun fishing in that boat as I do my new 2019 model. My buddy's got a brand new 2022 model. I have just as much fun fishing in that boat as I do my old boat. So, and the other thing that kind of rattled my cage a little bit is old boy had a Starbucks about this tall, right? Had a pack of marbles in his front pocket. So I looked a lot when I was at the gas station, and marbles are almost $10 a pack. So can he afford it? Yeah, he probably can. He just doesn't want to. So to further my point, I did some things that I don't normally do. I live very conservatively, you guys. I eat breakfast at home before work. I pack a lunch almost all the time. I got to buy groceries anyways. I go to work to make money, not spend money. So I bring a lunch with me. I refill my water bottle at the water cooler at work. I mean, it's just the way that I am. I just can't see wasting the money. But so today, I did some things that I don't normally do for argument's sake. I stopped at McDonald's, got breakfast. I got a cheap breakfast too, you guys. I got a sausage and cheese muffin. I don't drink coffee, so I substituted for a Coca-Cola, and I got a hash brown. That was $4.49, you guys. $4.49 for my breakfast. Not expensive, but $4.49. Later in the day, I went to Qdoba for lunch. These are behaviors that I see all day, every single day, by most people that I work with, peers, people that work for me, etc. These are behaviors that I see on a daily basis, so I decided to go out and mimic them. So I went to Qdoba, I got lunch, got a burrito bowl. Pretty tasty. It was $12.63. Cholula sweet and hot chicken, all the fixings, whatever. It was $12.63 for my lunch. And again, I'm not a coffee drinker, but I see guys go to Starbucks day after day after day after day. So I went to Starbucks today, and I got a refresher, strawberry lemonade. It was fine. I mean, it was fine. Strawberry lemonade. I mean, nothing fancy about it. It was $4.90. So breakfast, lunch, and one beverage cost me $22.02 today. It's $110 a week if I did that 5 days a week. If I did that 50 weeks out of the year, not counting my 2 weeks of vacation time, I'd be spending $5,500. $5,505 to be exact. So could I afford a live scope by not doing those things? I absolutely could, you guys. I mean, it's out there. Anytime you want something, you gotta put in a little bit of sacrifice and be willing to get it, right? I'm not saying, don't go out and have some beers with your buddies. I'm not saying don't ever go out to eat. You gotta live life. You gotta enjoy life. But I guess my point is, you guys, is most of the people who say they can't afford LiveScope indeed can afford it. They're just choosing a different way to allocate their funds. So I guess that's where I won't hear the I can't afford it argument as much as I'm willing to listen to the other. Now, I get it. If you're out there, you're making 13, 14 bucks an hour, you're probably not going to get a live scope. But if you're making 14 bucks an hour, you probably can't afford a boat either. You're just trying to keep your head above water. I know that goes on out there, you guys. I understand that. What I'm talking about is the guys that run in the circles that we run in, guys that are fishing out of Ranger boats, Nitro boats, Lumacraft boats, you name the brand. There's guys out there fishing out of some pretty fancy boats that will turn around and complain that they can't afford a live scope. If you can afford the truck, you can afford the boat, you can probably afford to make some adjustments to your lifestyle for a short time. I mean, what's a year out of your life? If you think that live scope is going to put you over the top and it's going to take you from fishing the BFLs into the opens, or it's going to take you from being a middle of the road opens angler to being a contender to go fish for the Elite Series, whatever your goals are, you want to win your local derby, you think it's going to give you that advantage, give up a little bit of luxury day to day, put the money away, buy it and put it on the boat. It can be done. You got to figure out a way to do it, and if you want it bad enough, you'll get there. But don't tell me you can't afford it when you're doing these things. There are so many things out there that cost so much money that we just waste our money on, right? Like, and again, I do things conservatively. I tie my own jigs. I pour my own jigs. I do those things because I like having the customization ability. But again, if I can make a jig for 80 cents in my basement here versus buying one for $6 or $8, I'll make the jig. I'll take the time. I don't ice fish in the winter. Our lakes are frozen over. I need something to do. So that's one of the things I do to pass my time away. It saves me a little bit of money. Sure, I had some upfront costs in it, but at this point in the game, it's just constantly paying for itself, So, I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at on this whole live scope thing. I don't know where you guys land on it. You can let me know in the comments below. I'm certainly not trying to offend anybody with this conversation. I think it's an important conversation to have. And I think it's important to be open-minded when it comes to technology and it comes to fishing. It's a real conversation. I'm open to the real parts of the conversation about, is it good for the fishery? Is it boring? Things like that. I'll hear that argument. I'm open to that all day, every day. But please, if you can afford to do the things that I've listed off in this video, you can afford the live scope. Just, if you want one, make the sacrifice that you need to make, save the money, go get one, put it on the boat, see if it makes you a better fisherman. It may not. You might not enjoy it. You might love it. But hopefully it's right for you and your financial situation. But, certainly don't throw it on your credit card. Don't go into debt over some electronics on your boat. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Just enjoy the sport. Remember why you got into the sport. I'm addicted to the bite more so than anything else. I want to feel that thump and set the hook, If I'm catching bluegills, crappies, bass, whatever, as long as I'm getting bit, I'm a happy camper, and I try to keep that in mind when I'm on the water. Why did I start doing this in the first place? It's fun. It's relaxing. It's therapeutic to be in the boat, out in the sun, enjoying time with friends, family, people you care about. Do it for the right reasons. Don't chase these goofy dreams if they don't make sense for you. But again, I'll hear the arguments, but I won't hear the I can't afford it argument. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll look forward to reading. I'm sure I'll get some nasty ones, but that's okay. And I'm sure I'll get some really insightful comments, but let me know what you think below. We can have a civilized conversation. I don't hate you if you use it. I don't hate you if you don't use it. I don't hate you if you want to ban it. I don't hate you if you think you should have 6 of them on your boat. I mean, we're all fishermen at the end of the day, so let's enjoy each other's company. Let's have a civilized conversation, and we'll see you on the next video, guys.